Get ready for your unofficial dental hygiene podcast. These are the tales of two hygienists, one East Coast RDH and one West Coast hygienist. Listen as they tackle the profession of dental hygiene with humor and enthusiasm. Now, please join Michelle Strange and Andrew Johnston as they tell you a tale of two hygienists.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of A Tale of Two Hygienists. This is a special bonus episode, and today we are welcoming the co-host from a new and upcoming podcast called Dental-ish, and the topic of today's conversation is going to be about racism. We understand that this episode has to be approached with some sort of sensitivity, but we also understand that in this day and age, there is zero tolerance for racism. Michelle and I feel very strongly about this, so we knew we had to put out an episode about it. So a big thank you to Martelle, Chris, and Anaika for doing this collaboration with us. The information that they shared is invaluable, and so thank you again for that. So rather than me blathering on to the show.
Welcome to Dental-ish podcast. Dentistry mixed with a little something extra.
My name is Martelle Coke, the founder of Brown Girl RDH, and I'm one of your hosts.
And I'm one of your hosts, Chris Williams, and I'm the founder of Prophy Kings.
And I'm one of your co-hosts, Anaika Forbes. And today we are being joined by Andrew Johnston, and I'll let him introduce himself.
Hey, everybody. My name is Andrew. I am a host of A Tale of Two Hygienists podcast.
Thank you for deciding to come and hang out with us. We're super excited.
Yeah,
even though our topic today is a serious topic, but we're glad that we can put our heads together, and we're just going to come right out the gate and tell you that we're talking about Black Lives Matter.
Absolutely.
That's what we're focused on today.
Yeah, and everything that's going on. We're talking about the state of the world, like it's just everything that people are thinking, experiencing. Like we're going to dive into all of that today.
Yes, so we're definitely going to go ahead and get started, and let's just come out the gate and talk about the angry Black person. What do you think that means? What does that look like? Who is it? Is it even a thing?
So I definitely have to say that with my personality, I'm very passionate, and especially talking about this particular subject, because I can literally tell you, I just came in the house. I haven't even showered yet, guys. I just came in the house from distributing care kits to the protesters. So I live in New York, and we have protests happening in almost every borough here in New York. And I have been out these past 3 days handing out care kits. And I see everybody out there supporting the movement. And I have my own little personal takeaways and things I want to discuss. But so when I start talking about it, guys, you're going to hear the passion in my voice because I've been in the trenches.
Mm. So let's preface this really quick for people who are not actually seeing us, right? Andrew Johnston, who's our guest today, is a white man. Okay,
you're not gonna get more pasty than me, man. I think you don't get more white than this.
I don't know. You got a little deepness in your voice. You know, some people might be like, "Is he light skinned?" I don't know what's going on.
And I guess we should probably say that Martelle, Chris, and I are Black, maybe just in case they were wondering.
Yeah,
Blackish.
me and Martelle are Black, and Anika's Black with a little something extra.
Yeah, I'm an Afro Latina, so I have a little Hispanic roots. I'm Panamanian, so I represent.
Are you really?
I am. I thought that's why you said a little something extra. That was my segue into that.
I did not know that.
Okay,
I'm Panamanian.
Can I ask a question though? Because I want to go back to the comment about like the angry Black person. And I wanted your guys' perspective of media in general. What I see, one, I don't watch a lot of news because it's really depressing. But the things I see in social media, the things I do see on the news, I feel like they're selecting the angriest of the people to represent the bigger group. Now, I feel like the message that's then being shared is like everyone's angry. Everyone's throwing bricks through windows. Every Black person is angry. But is that what you feel on the inside? Do you feel like that's representing everybody, or is that a media misconstruction? What is it?
Yeah, hell yeah. Look, let me say this. Black people are angry. Okay, let's just get that straight. But it's the understanding of where the anger is coming from, right? Why are you angry? Like, it's okay. It's justified if someone broke into your house, right? If somebody did something to you and you're angry, it would be like they're angry because, right? But when you just say they're just angry, like a general statement, like there's no reasoning behind being angry, that's when there's an issue.
Right.
And we have plenty of reason to be angry. We have 400 plus years worth of reason to be angry.
Right. And I think we need to change it from Black people are angry to like Black people are tired. They are tired. They're tired of holding in emotions. They are tired of being overlooked. They're tired of seeing constantly their people on TV being replayed dying, it being murdered. They're tired of seeing those things. So if they just start changing the terms that they use when portraying things on the media, I think people will be a little bit more sympathetic and understanding as to like, what are we actually seeing? What are we actually watching? Right. So
do you feel like the term irrational gets thrown around a lot as a prefix to angry Black person?
That's the first time of me hearing that one.
Yeah,
I haven't heard.
I've never heard anybody use the word irrational, but I think that's the underlying tone though of what I was speaking about. It's like it's irrational, right? It's not. There's no rational reason for them to be angry, but there is. So that's the underlying tone. No one's actually saying that word, but that's the underlying.
Yeah, that's what they're portraying it as.
Right. So when you're like a little kid, and something happens and you're really upset and you can't do anything about it, so you just start crying and everyone's like, well, why are you crying? You're like, I just wanna, like I think that's the boiling point to where everyone, not just Black people, everyone is. And when we talk about the angry Black person, we're just talking about expressing ourselves and not coming off as, not even coming off, because we're not coming off as aggressive, but people are perceiving that we are aggressive in it because the way we're talking, like, to get our point across. Like, I'm not going to sit back and be like, you know what, that wasn't fair. It's like, nah, let me tell you what you're not about to do. So it's like, all right, she's not playing. Like, who let the dogs out, right? So, I think that's what it is. It's just understanding. And my daughter, she's 13, right? And she said, I asked her, do you act different when you're around white people? Just yesterday. And she said, yeah. She's like, I just kind of like changed the way I talk and my tone. Like, I don't joke around with them because maybe they won't get my jokes and they would take offense to it. Like, a 13-year-old is already saying that she has to change who she is around certain people so that they don't get offended. So that's what we're talking about when we say, are we really angry or are we just being ourselves? Do we come from a culture of passion?
Yeah, I agree. I would say that's what we call code switch. We code switch when we get from one group of individuals to another. Like, if I'm at a different establishment where there are white people, I talk with my hands a lot. So I may not use hand gestures as much because I don't want them to, get nervous with me using my hands. If I'm around my people, my hands are all over the place because I'm comfortable. So we are all guilty of code switching, but I don't think we should have to code switch. We should be who we are everywhere we go.
Unapologetically.
Exactly. And it gets really tiring to know when you walk out of the door, you got to switch it up.
You're exhausted.
It gets tired.
So we were talking about that at work where I don't do it. I am who I am. But when you temp, for instance, and the office is not really used to your personality and the patients are not used to you and they don't know who you are, you're kind of like on edge, like, okay, let me not say this, let me use all the proper terminology, everything changes about you. And by the end of that day, you're exhausted because you're mentally drained from saying like, oh, I can't do this that way. Or, is the doctor going to judge me or think I'm less smart than the next hygienist because I'm not using periodontal disease and I'm saying gum disease or pyorrhea. Like in the South, they call it pyorrhea because that's what the patients understand it as. So I think it's mentally, we're tired. We are tired.
I just found out, guys, that there is a podcast called Code Switch. I did not know that. You see, like those are colloquialisms that we tend to know in our like respective inner circles. So there's a podcast called Code Switch. I'm going to definitely listen to that podcast.
So I can put in the show notes if you all want me to. It's there's a thing called Bellow Collective, and they have a an article that it keeps getting updated because it used to be 16, now it's up to 21. It's 21 podcasts that confront racism in America. Under the first section, they call it The Black Experience, Code Switch. This is NPR's flagship podcast about race and culture. So it definitely contains multitudes, takes on racism across the spectrum of identities. And then there's 20 other ones that are in this article. So if you want, I'll put it in the show notes. You guys can use it.
Yeah, that'd be actually amazing. I had no idea that was. See, look at that. Colloquialisms that we use every day in our own backyard.
So what does racism look like in the dental community? What is the dental ish that we have to deal with in the dental community?
I mean, before we even talk about the dental community, let's just talk about our own backyard. Like, before we were practicing dentistry, I'm pretty sure each of us have experienced some sort of racism that had nothing to do with our profession.
Chris, you want to talk about as a child or as a teenager, what you experienced?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, so I'll tell you guys a quick little story. I'll make it real short and sweet. One day, I was in maybe sophomore year of high school. I was coming back from football practice. Now this is during the off season when we would do weight training. So I was walking back home from that, and I seen a police car drive by, right? But it's normal, you see a car. It's just like another car driving by. But on this particular day, that police car just flipped a quick U-turn, right? And I'm thinking, oh, they about to get somebody. They flipped their lights on and pulled right up to me as I was walking on the sidewalk. And just imagine, what I'm saying? I'm coming from football practice. I'm completely like baffled. Like, what's going on right now? The police officer hops out of the car really quick, comes around the car, tells me to stop where I'm at. I'm like, what's going on? What's wrong? And he's like, I need you to get in the back of the car. Right. So I'm like, of course I'm following, orders and stuff because I don't know what's going on. I'm a teenager and it's a police officer. So I sit in the back and he says, there has been a robbery in the area and you fit the description. So I need you to sit in the back of the car and wait until I tell you, further instructions. So I'm just like at a loss right now. Just imagine. Right. And it was a white cop. So I sit in the back. I don't know what to do. I didn't have a phone or anything. I had to call my mom, and they didn't even give me the option. And some guys walked up off the street wearing regular clothes, and come to find out they were the people who walk around in Walmart and they're like shoplifting. Like they basically look like regular customers, right? And they're waiting for people to shoplift so they can get them. So it was those guys. And my heart dropped, right? This guy looks at me and he's talking to the cop and he says, yeah, that's him. It's over for me. So I'm like, it's over for me. And there's nothing that I can do. They said I fit the description. So luckily when I was sitting in the back and they were getting ready to, I guess, like handcuff me and get ready to take me to jail, a girl rode by who went to school with me. Her and her grandma drove by and she saw me sitting in the back of the car. And then, cause she's nosy, she came by, and plus she saw, you know what I'm saying? She was like, "Oh no, I just seen Chris at the school. Why is he getting locked up right now?" So she turns around and says, "Hey, why do you guys have Chris?" And he was like, "Oh, well, he, they explained to him. It's like, no, he was just at the school at football practice. So thank God this girl saw me and vouched for me, and they let me go."
See. It be them church mothers who be nosy. We like them nosy church mothers.
Right. And it was one of them girls who she lived with her grandma. Grandma go to church every Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
They ain't playing
them
no
church
games.
Mamas. Them church mamas be nosy. They be saving lives out here.
But yeah, man, like that was a scary moment for me, man. Like, and I was just judged, you know what I'm saying, just off walking on the side of the street. And mind you, I'm coming back from football practice. It's not like I was doing something,
Right. But when you're that young, I feel like for me, I didn't realize, looking back, that was racism. That happened to you and that was racism. But looking back when you're a teenager and you're young, you don't even realize everything that's going on luckily we have the protests and we have people speaking up and we have platforms where a lot of young people are getting involved now, so they recognize what's going on. But for me, I don't think it really occurred to me what was going on, if there were some things going on when I was younger. But in the dental profession, for sure, there's been plenty of things. I always tell people the story about when a patient stole my phone. So this white man took my phone, and I went to court to press charges, and I'm standing in front of the judge because, we go up, and the judge looks at me and he's like, "Ma'am, is this your first offense?" And I'm looking around like, who is he talking to? And the lawyer's like, "Your Honor, she's the victim." So it was me and this white man standing there, and the judge directly looked at me and assumed I stole the phone. So as a professional, as someone who's older, I'm like, that was racism. But this is the judge, right? Who is this is the authority. This is our criminal justice system. So that was blatant racism right there.
And the thing that sucks about that, and I didn't even think about this because you've told me this story before. I didn't even think. Usually, a judge has notes. They have things in front of them that they follow. They know who the plaintiff is and the defendant. So it's like he didn't even look at the paper.
Nope.
He didn't even
look.
I
was guilty. He
said,
knew.
"Look at this.
Get in the box.
Look at this little."
Get in the box.
Yeah, done.
You go in the box, you go to jail. If you've been to court, you go in the box, you go to jail.
And you know what's funny, Andrew? Like right now, we're telling you these stories, and the audience, we're telling you guys these stories, and you see how we laugh about it, how we make jokes about it. But the stuff is really sad. You know what I'm saying? But this is what we do. This is our way of dealing with our traumas.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
It's our coping mechanism.
We make light of the situations. And I don't know if it's a good thing or if it's a bad thing. I think laughter is always good. It's better than crying. But it's sad, man.
Yeah, it's sad. But then you have things going on right now where we're saying, like, why are we angry? Why are we tired? Because all of that's built up. Like, I done went through 10 or 15 things, and I'm only 20 years old already. And now I'm tired. I want to cry. I'm angry. I want to go throw a brick at something. I don't, but, I'll point somebody.
I mean, I've had, so the pronunciation of my name is Anaika, right? And if you are my father, then you call me Anaika. You got to put a little Spanish, little accent on it. And like I said, I live in New York, and the trains are our mode of transportation. When I was in high school, and I had something like, most people call me Nike, like Nike with a Y at the end. But in front of it, I think I had like Anaika and then Nike, my whole name on something I was wearing. I think it was like a jacket or something. And most people assume that Anaika is Anika. So I usually get that a lot. So at some point you stop correcting them. And there was this white person who read it and said the N-word. So instead of calling me Anaika or Anika, they called me the N-word. And seeing as how this is our first podcast, I don't know if I can say the N-word, but as opposed to calling me anything else, like, hey, girl, woman, chick, babe, boo, you choose that because you thought that's what sound like. First of all, there's no G in my name at all. So even if you can't read, you cannot mistake the K for a G. I'm like, come on. Are you kidding me? Yeah, so I've had my whole first government name turned into the N-word.
A racial slur.
That's crazy.
Just like that. Yeah, just like that. And I'm like, you can't be serious. Like, you cannot be serious. And I was a hot-headed youth, so that conversation, the rest of that conversation didn't go well. I don't want to get arrested later, so I'll just leave that to myself. But it's like, come on. That's not, don't do that. Don't call. You don't even know me. So that was my experience. And that was just earth shattering. But then I was more like hyped up to do something bad to this person as opposed to emotionally stunted, or at least like, instead of breaking down and crying, I automatically triggered and turned into anger.
So, when you're in school, and my name is Martelle, and obviously I get Martelli, Myrtle, all kind of weird names, but you're so nice about it, right? It's like, okay, This is what it is. This is what it is. And then you start like, my name is boom. Like, get it right. You know? So it's like, we're talking about protesting, right? And now they're peaceful. And then there's the riots, right? And we're talking about why is the rioting? Why is the negative issue? Why is the negative things being shown right now? But luckily we have social media because people are coming and saying, hey, believe half of what you see, right? Because I have this where I see police officers breaking their own cars. I see Black Lives protesters stopping rioters from beating up police officers, from damaging stores, and people are starting to see it. So it's just not like, oh, whatever you see on there, these are looters, and it's more to it. But I can understand why the media puts that out there, because that they want to sell the story. It's more
that's more exciting. And I can speak because I have been out there for the past 3 days, and every protest, rally, congregation that I've been to, nothing but peace.
Exactly.
We've walked miles. We've had people out their windows clapping, banging their pots, blowing whistles. This gentleman was even playing his horn. There was nothing resembling negativity, rioting,
chaos,
looting,
right?
Chaos. Nothing resembling chaos. And that's what they want you to see, because they want you to think that we are doing it. And we are not. And honestly, the majority of the protesters are white. At least in where I've been, they're white. And I'm like, we need allies. So that's wonderful.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It takes all of us. It takes unity. I saw something today with protesters breaking into, they're looters. They're not protesters. They were white people. Right. They're looters. They were breaking into a surf shop and stealing surfboards. I have not seen that on CNN, not one time. And I'm like, now, first of all,
you think we taking a surfboard? What we gonna take? We're not taking a surfboard. So it's not us. But if we gonna loot something, if we taking something, we taking things that we can use, because what do we need? We need resources in our community. A surfboard is not going to help us. What are we taking? We're taking clothes. We're taking food. We're taking things that can help us.
Can we loot some grants? Can we loot a loan?
Looters are looters. They don't come in any color. Everybody is. Right. Everybody's looting. Let's just. My husband's a state trooper, so someone asked me the other day, like, how does he feel about this? How do you feel about it? And we never really talked about it, but people have to understand, it is the world against police. The Black Lives Matter movement is for the injustices that Black people experience by the hands of police officers. Like, why is there a double standard? Why aren't they being charged with murder? Why does a murder have to be investigated that was recorded? What is there to investigate? Are we investigating? Was it justified? When is murdering anyone or anybody or anything justified? You can kill a dog and get arrested.
And you have the whole ASPCA, PETA, and everybody.
You going down the same day. They taking all your animals, your birds, your cats. They're going to take your children and your house. But Everything. This man was killed, and many others killed on TV, shot in the back. All of these cases that we're seeing, and no arrests. Right.
From children to grown men, from women to children.
Absolutely.
Black people.
So it's the world against police. So when we have this excessive force used by police officers, they're humans. They're defensive. I can only imagine why they're acting that way. How would you, if you had the whole world against you? Wouldn't you feel some type of way? Not to say all of them are. Not to say all of them are, because some are marching with the protesters and they're being peaceful, but others, they're probably like, oh, it's too much. Mental illness is real, and everybody has it, some form.
Let's talk about this real quick though, because we were talking about racism, right? We were starting to broach that subject, and then we got to talk about the fact that there's multiple forms of racism. Okay. There's blatant racism, where it's like the everyday conversations and the way you deal with people, right? And the way you see people. Then there's systemic racism.
Those microaggressions that we get all the time.
Right. Then there's systemic racism, right? Where systems are built in ways that affect us, like without you really knowing, right? And that's when you start talking about the fact that there are minorities who don't get paid as well as our Caucasian counterparts, right? And what else? You guys help me out with these.
There's opportunities. The whole criminal justice system. Remember, Black people were property. They were not human. They were not man. So when you think about the criminal justice system, it was made off of that fact. So when someone went to trial and someone accused a 13-year-old of killing or whistling at a white woman, you were guilty, and it was you were judged by 8 white people, and you were just death penalty automatically. You didn't have a chance. Right. So that's the same criminal justice system that we have today. So that's still in place.
And then
it's also the educational resources. So the public school system is funded by property taxes. The property taxes in lower income communities, which so happen to be the Black communities, the property tax value are a lot lower. So the funds that go into the public schools are a lot lower, as opposed to the property taxes of a wealthier and generally white area. Their schools are better because they're better funded. And it starts in the structure of the education system. If I send my child to school, she doesn't have a textbook that has all 50 pages. She doesn't have the opportunity to go to an after-school program. I have to pay somebody out of my minimum wage check to watch my daughter. And my daughter is now walking home from school, walking over to Ray Ray's house to be watched by Ray Ray. But by the time my daughter gets from the school to Ray Ray, she don't walk 6 blocks. She's walking 6 blocks. How many people are whistling at her? So now she grows up and she looks older than what she really is because she's taking the attention. All of this plays a role, and people don't think that. As opposed to in the white community, they have somebody to pick them up, or they have a school bus that drops them from point A to point B. Or they have an after-school program that they're in, and they're being cared for, watched, and protected. It all starts at grassroots level, and that's what people seem to fail to realize. This is a grassroots level issue. This is not an issue that just came about. This is not an issue that starts in a boardroom. This is an issue at a grassroots level, period. Give us the money, give us the resources, and we will be able to do for ourselves. Because I can promise you, if you give us the same resources that you give other people, white people, we'll be able to hold our own and then some. Because ain't nothing like a Black woman determined. Ain't nothing like a Black man determined. You give me something and I'm going to give you something better.
Amen. Okay. Oh, amen.
Listen, don't get me started. I'm telling you. This is an issue that I take to heart.
And again, it's passion. It's passion. She's not angry. She's not triggered.
Right. I'm not angry. This is pure.
That sweat on her upper lip is just passion.
This is pure factual information. This is anything that if you open up a book, you will see that. If you open up resources, you will see that. You will see that.
Yeah.
We don't have the money in our community. We don't have it. And if we don't have the money in our community, how are we funneling out? How are we able to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps? How? The money's not coming in.
That's why we clap so hard, for each other. When things happen, for each other. That's why we go so hard. We go so crazy over the simple things, maybe to some other people like graduating high school. And that's why you go to them graduations, you hear them aunties and them mamas in the crowd yelling, boy.
When they say, please hold all. Clap to the end, and then here you go. Here come Martelle coming off the stage. Go Martelle, and everybody screaming. And it's like, oh my God, they just embarrassed me. No, they didn't. But that's that excitement. You're right, Chris. Absolutely.
Y'all should have seen me at both my little sister's graduation.
Didn't follow any instruction.
Listen, none of them, none. That's my sister. And everybody started laughing, and I'm like, hey, that's my sister.
Listen, you was ready.
Red.
That's funny.
To go.
So Anaika, like you were saying, give us the same opportunity. So when we say Black Lives Matter and someone comes across and they have pushback and they're saying, well, what about blue lives or all lives or, That is the privilege, saying, I'm not going to ask you and sit here and explain to you why Black Lives Matter. I want you to explain to me, why do I have to explain to you? What isn't clicking in your head if I'm saying that? Tell me why it doesn't make sense to you, because I'm confused. If you're confused, I'm confused. And if it's not the point of people not understanding, they already have a reason in their head why they don't understand. So if you say Black Lives Matter and they're like, well, so do blue and so do white and so do everything, they already have that in their head. So they're not going to understand what they're not going to try to understand what you're saying. So you tell me why you don't think Black Lives Matter, and you tell me, oh, because blue lives matter. So that's telling that, and they can say it all day. I mean, I don't do this anymore, but I was really going to go back and forth with a guy who said there's a double standard. And, these 2 Black kids shot this police officer, and, all lives matter. And I'm just like, yes, they do. But guess what? My husband's a police officer. I'm not saying that I hate all cops, and that's not what I'm saying. But he made it about that because of his understanding. For me, saying one thing doesn't mean another. So why shouldn't you say all lives matter? It's highly offensive. Like, we know that. We knew that when we became humans instead of property, because we were property at one point. We weren't considered man, right? We weren't
the
considered.
problem I have, we were. I think it was a fifth or a third of a man.
Okay.
My problem that I have with the all lives matter is all is an inclusive adverb. Look it up in the dictionary. It's an inclusive adverb. So therefore, for all lives to matter, Black lives have to matter. So saying all lives negates that, because Black lives do not matter. So you cannot say all lives matter. It's an inclusive adverb. Go in the dictionary, open up the dictionary and see what the word all actually means. So all lives cannot matter until Black lives matter. Therefore, all lives matter.
Right. And then here's my thing.
It's an adverb.
I'm thinking, like, if I have to sit here and explain to, because there's a lot of people, like, I know a lot of people, and I'm posting, I'm a strong advocate for Black Lives Matter. But if I have to explain to you why Black Lives Matter, and there's 50 states doing protests in 18 countries, and this is global, I shouldn't have to explain to you anything. You should just be like, oh, yep, they said it is. This is what it is. Like, that's true. Everybody else is saying it. Why do you have to be the one idiot, the one idiot that's like, no. Well, what about this? Like, stop. If 100 people are saying it, the whole world is saying it. So who's wrong? I'm not wrong. Why would you sit here and argue with me? That is the common sense. Common sense ain't common. That should tell you something.
Not in this current climate that we're living in.
Anything else, it would be like, okay, that makes sense. You wear your seatbelt, because if you don't, you die. Not everybody that wears their seatbelt is going to die, doesn't wear their seatbelt is going to die. But you understand there's been enough cases of people that have died in vehicles from not wearing the seatbelt. So you just understand it to be true. So if the whole world is telling you Black Lives Matter, to sit your ass down and understand what we're saying.
Period.
Okay?
Period, with a T at the end.
That is the frustration right there,
yes,
people.
That's exactly where we get frustrated. So you see,
you.
Andrew, you see where we're going with this, Andrew?
I'm
this
loving every bit of this, honestly.
This is where the frustration comes from.
No, and I get it. It's every now and again, there's a terrible thing that happens. We all come out in force. So I kind of want to actually maybe shift this back to you guys. How come this time it feels different? It does feel different to me this time, right? It feels strong.
Absolutely is. Yeah, and this is my opinion on this for several reasons why this movement is different than the movement that started 5 years ago. A, the coronavirus. B, people are unemployed and they only got $1,200. C, everybody got time today. Ain't nobody working. We all got time. We all got time. Ain't nobody really working. And D, that man literally looked dead at the camera as his knee was on this man's neck.
For 9 minutes.
He looked at the camera as he had his knee on Mr. George Floyd's neck. I've watched, and I don't like to admit it, and that it pains me. I've seen a lot of officers kill Black people. And this one hit different. Could it have hit different? Because I was literally sitting on my couch, scrolling through social media, because I work from home currently because I'm an educator. but I still have time. Could it have been that? Because I'm in my nice house, comfy. Usually when I see news, I'm on the go. So I don't have time to process and pay attention.
Process it, right.
Right, because I'm on the go when I'm watching news. I'm not like, I'm getting dressed in the morning, so I'm watching it. I'm listening, I'm driving, I'm watching it. It passes by in the office, I'm watching it. So I'm not really focused on it. But this time, that's why we got time. We have time. And that's why I think this movement is different. So,
and another thing is people see what they want to see on social media, but we're social distancing. You on social media, everyone is trying to figure out what's the next thing they can do on social media, so everyone is seeing it, and it's replaying over and over and over and over again. So yes, we have time, people have time, and it's in their face, they cannot deny it. So that's where the outrage is. People have been stuck in their house for 2 months on social media.
Anaika, you mentioned George Floyd's name, like, very specifically then. Mm-hmm. Is there power in saying someone's name?
Absolutely. Because when you say someone's name, you acknowledge that being. You acknowledge that person's presence, as opposed to calling them it, he, she, her. When you call me by my name, I know you are directly speaking and talking to me or about me. So that's why we need to say his name. That's why we need to say her name. Don't give it another number. Don't give it another statistic. Call these people by their full government name, because you need to know that you took away someone's mother, someone's father, someone's son, someone's daughter. You took them away. It is power in the name. I'm about to take you out of church real quick. I felt the sermon come out.
That's real deep.
Because there's power in the name of Jesus. That was about to come out next. I'm also a church girl too, so that was about to come out. Goodness. Just
So yeah.
And then also Andrew with saying their name, not only does it acknowledge that they were an actual person, but it reminds people of the story too, because a lot of times we're seeing these stories, unfold on camera, which is sad. When we're watching these people who were alive, and then we watch their life leave their body, so saying their name, it brings that connection forward, for the experience of what happened. Like every single person's name, once you say it, you can see, like when you say Trayvon Martin, you can see him going to the store. You can see him being followed. You can see, what I'm saying? You can hear the call, George Zimmerman calling it in, and them telling him not to pursue the person, not to pursue him. And then you just see it unfolding in your mind. You know what I'm saying? Him having a bag of Skittles and, like in his hand, you just see it when you say that name. Ahmaud, you just imagine, like I've been on plenty of runs, I just imagine him just going out for a run, just a regular day, lacing his shoes up, putting his shorts on, like I'm about to go for this run.
Yeah. Breonna Taylor, sleeping in her bed, asleep. Who knew when she closed her eyes she wasn't gonna wake up the next day? She ain't know that. Asleep.
And that's why Anaika is so passionate about this right now, because it's like, yes, you say their name, and Chris is talking about, Trayvon Martin and Ahmaud Arbery, and then I'm starting to think about Tamir Rice and Philando Castro and all of these people that were murdered, and then I'm thinking about their story, like this man sitting in his car, he worked out of school, this kid is playing with a toy gun, Tamir Rice, he's killed. Like now it gives us a connection to it, so now we're really emotional about it. It's like now we know these people, these are our family, these are our people. So
we could even take it back to oh my gosh, Rodney King. Anytime you hear the name Rodney King, the first thing people think about are the LA riots. But before you think about the LA riots, this man was hauled out of his car, beat. And then here in New York, Amadou Diallo. He was a sock vendor from Guinea. They asked him for his identification. He took out his wallet. They shot at this man 41 times in his lobby of his building. 18 of those shots hit him. Are you kidding me? We've been fighting this battle. I don't like to reveal my age. I'm 35 plus. We've been fighting this battle since I was in grade school. Since I was in grade school, we've been fighting this battle. I didn't know the brevity of it then, but I know it now. We've been fighting this battle. Like, Rodney King was 1992. Even though things change, not that much. You know what's actually changed? Racism isn't new. It's just now being filmed.
Right.
It ain't new. It's just not being caught on camera everywhere you go. That is what makes this that powerful and significant.
I think, when you start talking about the stories of the individuals themselves and the injustice of it all, I mean, it's illegal what happened to them. And I think that point is getting really lost on, I think, a lot of at least white people when they are so concerned about these police officers and this and that and the other. The police officers did something illegal. These people are doing things that are illegal. So a brick through a window versus someone being murdered. That's, I think, the injustice that people are missing out on widely.
Right. So we're talking about privilege. We're talking about privilege and people speaking out against the rioting and the businesses, and I can't go to work and I can't go to school. Well, coronavirus did that to you, not these riots, not the protesters. Like, that was the coronavirus, So someone saying that's privilege. Someone's saying like, wow, all of these businesses, they're messing up America. This is hurting our economy. And Chris said, guess what? Casualties of war.
Yeah, let me just touch on that really fast. So, because I've heard that being thrown around. I've even heard it from some black people. That, the rioting, the looting, the protesting, this is not the way, guys.
It's not.
Well,
we don't agree with it.
This is the thing, though. This is my take. When you're at war, there is no rules. Okay, and so to preface this for you guys, for me, I'm a United States Air Force veteran. I was a military cop, so I understand the whole shebang as far as use of force, the way people are supposed to do detainments, the way they're supposed to challenge people. When I say challenge people, that means when you approach someone and you give them direction on what you need them to do, right? So if you pull over someone and they're a high-risk traffic stop, how you're supposed to deal with that person in a safe way, but an aggressive way, giving them direction. I've seen a lot of infractions, and it almost makes me think that these people are not properly trained, for sure, because it's very clear and cut the way you're supposed to move through your use of force model, okay? From communication tactics to actual use of force. There are steps and levels to it. When you're dealing with people running away from you and you're shooting them in the back, that makes no sense at all. It's even, especially for them to be dead after you shoot them. Me personally, and it's not to brag, if I want to shoot you in your shoulder, I can shoot you in your shoulder. If I want to shoot you in your head, I can shoot you in the head. I'm trained, okay? These people who carry weapons, they need to be trained properly and well. And if they're not being trained properly and well, we need to dig into that and figure out why they're not being trained properly.
Give everybody rubber bullets. That's what I always say.
Look, this is a good way. Actually, that is a good idea, Martelle. They should stagger the weapons. They should have deadly ammunition toward the bottom of their magazine and not deadly,
non-lethal
rounds. Yeah, non-lethal. Non-lethal at the top. So when you fire those first, maybe 3 rounds, they're not going to be lethal. If you had to fire more than 3, then you're obviously you're aiming to.
You're
kill
not
someone.
good at your job. You're not good at your job. If you a police officer and you got to fire more than 3 shots to take somebody out, that means you're not good at your job and you need to try something else. Hello, hi, how can I help you? Next in line, welcome to McDonald's, welcome to Starbucks. That's where you belong there, bro. Cut it out. If you are going to put people in these situations, then you need to train them properly.
You guys realize
people not proper?
To be a sheriff in some states, to be a police officer, all you need is a high school diploma and a GED.
Yeah, I know.
That's the sad part.
Exactly. That's
the sad part right there.
I know. And that's that bull. No, I won't finish that. Listen.
I'm so excited that you guys should do a video podcast too, by the way. This is going to be so good.
Have you seen because you're looking at my face and all my hands. See,
she's very animated.
My hand gestures.
Yeah,
Listen, I am very animated.
Yeah, I love it.
Sorry, y'all. I'm gonna try to be a little, a little less.
Just for you, it's fine.
Not a little bit, some extra.
Some people might, people would love that. But look, and then to bring it back to the topic, on, what we were saying is there's casualties of war. Okay, like your business is gonna get looted. Your business may get destroyed, may get maimed. But the thing is it's like this. I was giving the example when people were out there rioting, or I'm sorry, not rioting, but protesting, right? And it gets a little hectic, and they want to do crowd control. They're gonna throw tear gas, right? They're not asking, are there any women and children in the crowd, right? They just throw tear gas, and guess what? That you're a casualty of war, right? Because there's war going on right now. It's us versus them. And whatever you feel like the us is, the Black Lives Matter movement, and then the them, be it the police or racist white people or any type of racism, there's going to be casualties when these two are conflicting. So I'm sorry if your business gets caught in the middle of it, but at the same time, I'm not sorry, because this is what got attention, right? We tried peacefully already. We had Colin Kaepernick kneeling, right? And guess what people were saying? That's not the right way to do it. How is him kneeling? How is him kneeling not okay? So that was so offensive, and that was like the wrong way to do things. Then when other times we were marching and protesting, this is not the right way to do it. We were shutting down highways, right? Stopping traffic. It's not the way to do it. But
Dr. Martin Luther King was murdered. Peaceful protest.
Peaceful protesting. Now that we are up in arms, things are being set on fire, businesses are being destroyed. Now people are listening.
Well,
so is this what we were waiting on?
That part.
You're getting that. You're affecting that 1%, right? Like, we're burning down Targets, looting Walmarts. Now people with the money is like, y'all need, no, arrest the police officers, do what y'all got to do, get Obama on the line. This needs to stop. Okay.
Hey, I still do on a segue note. Why Target though? Why was Target a Target? Like,
because it's Target.
Because
it's Target.
Why are you picking on Target? Like, why y'all couldn't pick on something else? Like, I shopped at Target.
Did Walmart.
Pick something else.
They did Walmart.
Yeah, I guess that's all right. I'm like, I shop at Target. Even though I need to not shop at Target, because when you walk into that cart, you want $5, you come out there with $500, and that's a problem.
They're going to do anything. Target was a Target. Target was a Target. It was a casualty of war, like Chris said. It was in the way, okay? It was in the way. So talking about privilege, we're talking about white privilege. People on social media and these social media groups have been getting offended when someone throws around the word white privilege, and it's like, that is your privilege showing, your pride showing. Just listen, sit back and listen. And then they say things like, my husband's black. Did I ask you that? Like, is your son black?
Wait, no. My favorite is, but I have a friend who's black, or I have black friends. Does that make you black though? What does that got to do with anything? Your privilege still exists, baby.
Understand.
Just because your friend is black?
Exactly. So don't say things like, I don't see color. Are you a dog? I mean, everybody sees color. We all do. You have to acknowledge it.
Someone told me that. I had a meeting and someone told me that.
It's like someone coming in and they're a different nationality in your office, and you're like, oh, I don't think you're Asian. You're just a skeleton. Like, you see color, you see the difference in people. Like, you do see it. You may not acknowledge it, and that's just your privilege showing. So if I walk in a room and I'm at RDH under one roof, I'm counting the little pepper flakes. I'm trying to see how many black people are in this room. Are you? And if you're not, why not?
Andrew, let me put you in on a little secret. Anytime a black person walks into a room, the first thing we do is count how many black people are in the room.
We do.
That is the first thing. So I'm going to let you know
black
eyeballs,
people's secret. Yes.
Can I ask about that? Why?
Go ahead.
Yeah, because we need allies. We want to make sure if something goes left, who we look at. Because you know what? I need to make sure that if I look, because this we have a secret code. If I look at you, you look at me, we the only two black people, we have a whole conversation in a look that says, I see you. You see me? Let me know if we got a problem. We good? You good? All right. Whole conversation without even speaking words. Because we need
What's
to
your
make
question,
sure that we look out
Andrew?
for each other. He wants to know what it means when we
Yeah,
count. When we count,
why is that a thing that's going
yeah,
on?
while we count, as soon as we walk in to a room, how many black people are in there?
Right.
Yeah, for sure, man. It's a comfortability thing, you know. You want to see something familiar, you know. It's like
Right.
it's like if you walked into a room, most people might check where the exits are. You know, it's just a sense of security, right? So if I walk into a room that's full of people that are not of my same tone, I'm gonna look for some sense of comfort. Even as far as this, if you walked into a room and you seen a couch and you really wanted to sit down, you're gonna look for that comfort, right? You're looking for that. So we find comfort in seeing other people that are like us.
Come through analogy. Come through analogy. You tired? You see a couch? You look for it. You better come. You better go ahead with that analogy.
It's what I do. It's what I do.
So we do, and then we realize that it's not, and then we think about why it's not, and then then there's the whole nother aspect of that. And then, do you feel bad? Do you feel proud? Like, how do you feel? That's another.
When I walk into a room and I see 3 black people in a room full of white people, I'm like, oh, look at us. Look, we in here. We in here. I'm celebrating the 4 black
when
people
you're represented. When
20,
you're represented.
Right. And
but then you got
20 people.
Then you got one of them that won't even acknowledge you. They scared to talk to you. It's like, it's okay to speak. Hi, how are you? Hi, sister. Hi, cousin. And I will go and say, hi, cousin. How are you? Just to make them more uncomfortable. Because they do that. Because some people do. They're like, oh my God, don't come over here. I don't want to be associated. Because they don't know who they are. So we know who we are.
Right.
Hands moving, all of that.
Chris, let me ask you a question. So when we go to, let's say, RDH under one roof, and there's not very many men, do you still do that same check with gender, or is it specific race for you?
Oh, definitely. I definitely check for other men around. Yeah, for sure.
But it's something about being like the only king in the room. So I know y'all men be like, I'm in here.
It ain't a deep check. It's a little slight check, but it ain't a deep check.
Right. You ain't disturbed. You're like, oh, more females for me, or whatever.
So there's a big difference in the reason for checking, but it still happens.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you, Andrew.
Black folks checking for comfort. Black women checking for comfort.
Yeah.
Men checking like, who out here for me? Who I'm looking for? Who I'm
exactly.
home tonight?
Oh yeah, you got
drinks on me.
You gotta scan the room. Gotta scan it. See if some potential in here. Be like, oh, it's dead in here. It's dead. It's about to be a long meeting.
That's how that go.
It's about to be a long summit.
That's how that go.
But luckily, you know what? In the dental field, man, there's a lot of beautiful women in the dental field. Like, so we are not at a loss for beauty. Like,
Andrew, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, you can ask me anything you want.
Well, how do you feel about your white privilege? Are you aware of your white privilege?
I think that we could talk a little bit more like offline, because I feel like my feelings are probably not going to be taken well in. If you guys want, we can keep it in the episode, but I feel like I'm a little bit more aware of my white privilege than a lot of other people. And the reason for that, though, is because I did spend some time overseas where I was the only white guy, and for years I was like, and so
well, we got to talk about that offline. We can talk about that
because
now.
This is about you guys. This isn't about me. And so, for me, it was, I'm not kidding you, multiple times a day, school buses of children would go by and things were getting screamed at me. They would charge me more because I'm a rich white guy, even though I was super poor, living in a poor country. And, so having that context, now coming to a place where I'm the opposite, where I do get things given to me because of X, Y, or Z that have nothing to do with anything but the privilege, I acknowledge it. I know it's there. It's not fair.
You see how you said you went overseas and they were charging you more because they automatically assumed that you had money.
Right.
That's not to take away from the white privilege aspect, but that's a stereotype, right? And that's what happens to us all the time. That's why we get pulled over all the time. That's why we have to be careful how we walk all the time. Like, not all of us are carrying 9mm and selling drugs, right? Like, no, but that's all that they see. And if you're closed-minded and you don't go out and you don't travel and you don't see different things and you don't go to different neighborhoods, then that's all that you know. And that's probably wherever you were, all they saw was like Beverly Hills 90210 or something like that. And that's what they all know. Oh, every white guy is rich.
Yeah.
Right. Like, you see?
A lot of things we learn is like we learn from movies, right? And someone said that their 9-year-old doesn't know what's going on in the world because she just wants to shield them from it. And it was a white woman. And I was thinking, that's what you don't want to do. Like, you want to be completely honest and let them know and understand. Kids are smarter than you think. Yeah, we have to protect them, but don't shield them from history. Mm-hmm. Because when it's in the books, it's going to be written the way whoever's writing the books wants it. Right. And some of those truths might not be in there. So let's talk about what racism looks like in dentistry and what we can do, what people can do listening to help combat that. My biggest thing is you don't need to do a CE about diversity and inclusion and it not coming from a diverse person. Like, where did you get your information, you know? And I see that a lot, and it's kind of frustrating because it's like, hear it from the mouths of the people who are affected. Like, what does it look like? It looks like an entire office of white team members and not one black person. Why didn't one person say, hey, why don't we have any diversity in here? The main thing that they're always looking for is we want a bilingual person. But you never see an ad for a black person online, right? You never see that. I've never saw it.
I've never seen it either.
I've never seen an ad for.
I don't know. I don't know if I would even respond to a.
We need some flavor in our office.
It might be some kind of weird fetish, though.
Yeah, right. Like, that's what I'm thinking. Like, I'm not trying to be the token. First of all,
it's not about. It's about you coming in and bringing, you know, whatever you bring to that office to say, hey, we can do this a little bit better. Or what about this for the patients? Or how can you understand your patients if you can't relate to them? I'm pretty sure an office with an entire white staff has black patients.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Absolutely.
How are you addressing those needs?
We only make up 13% of the population, but we still everywhere. We sprinkled everywhere.
Sprinkles. Pepper.
We sprinkled. Yeah,
so the thing, if you're a company looking to hire somebody black, I'm sure there's a lot of people out here who are applying for jobs, right? So the thing is not to put an ad out that says we're looking for a black person. Just when you get somebody who applies, give them a shot. You know, give them that chance, give them the job. Yeah, don't take this. We making jokes. Don't take this and go out and create a black ad after this and put the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air on the front of it or something like that. just let's not do that.
I had a girl tell me in the Brown Girl group that she sends her resumes in and she puts her picture on it because so many times she's gotten to the interview and has been either talked to bad, they didn't expect to see her, she wasn't what they thought, they're mean to her, or they don't even come out and interview her. They tell her, like, the doctor's busy, come back, and then they never call her. So now what she does is she puts a photo on her resume to prevent that from happening. And I said, you know what, you shouldn't have to do that, but she does because she doesn't want to keep feeling that rejection. This is 2020. This is dental hygiene in 2020. This is people saying, are you the hygienist? What else am I going to be? Like, you know, I'm not in here cleaning vents. Like,
yeah,
this is 2020. This is what we deal with.
All right. I ain't even going to front with y'all. Sometimes when I go into offices, because I'm not the typical, right? Black, got a beard, I got tattoos and stuff like that. I walk in and I act like I'm not the hygienist that's coming because I want to see if they'll know. You know, I want to see how they look at me. So I walk in and I just kind of have this, like, you know, like this doe-eyed look, like, oh, I don't know if I'm in the right place, you know? And then I'm like, then they're like, can I help you? And I'm like, yeah, I'm the hygienist that you called. I just love it because I know that they're not expecting me.
Was that your white voice? Just out of curiosity.
I don't know if it sounded like it. Then yeah, I guess it was.
Laughing.
He came for you,
God.
Chris. He came for you, bro.
Yo, all right. So Andrew, do you got a black voice? Let's hear it.
I do not. I couldn't even try to if I wanted to.
That's how we come back right there.
I have a West Coast voice, I think. That's what I have.
Where you from, Andrew?
I grew up in California, and then now I live in Washington State. So my whole life.
Did we talk about that before? Did I tell you that I'm from Cali too?
I don't think we have. You and I haven't really talked very much, honestly. We'll get to know each other more.
Yeah, I'm from Cali, and I lived in Washington.
What? Is it for the military? For both of those?
Oh, my mom just moved us out of Cali for better opportunities. We went northwest to Seattle.
You know what? That's exactly what happened to us. Yeah, it was same reason.
Like, and look how it changed your life, but it changed your life.
Honestly, I think living in the Philippines really changed my life. So.
See, and that's it. Like, if people just have these conversations, I don't think what we're going through would be an issue. I feel if people had the racism conversation, this would not be an issue. We would not be where we are today, struggling, if people will acknowledge the beast that's in the room. Just acknowledge it. You know you are in a predominantly white neighborhood. You know you are in a predominantly white field. Say it. Say it and say, what can I do to change? That's the conversation that needs to be had not only in dentistry, but all over the world. What can I do to change? Because it's not as if every single person, the majority of the population is white, but not everybody is. There are multitudinous of cultures, diversity, languages, color, ethnicity. I could go on and on and on and on. We have to be tolerable because we all live on this earth. It ain't just me. It ain't just you. We all live here. We all need dental care. We all need these things.
Yeah, and that's what I think the beauty of what's rising out of the ashes of all of this burning down of things is that people are starting to come out and say, I acknowledge my white privilege, and I'm going to use that to speak and stand side by side with the Black community. And that is I want us to acknowledge that is happening.
It is, definitely. Or we wouldn't be here today. Like, right. People are acknowledging, wow, this is why we have brown girl RDH, because now I'm looking around and this dental field is really predominantly white, this dental hygiene field. So let's do something about it. How can we support? What are things that people listening can do to help support the social injustices that Black people and people of color are going through? What are your 3 top things that they can do? And so everybody can give one.
Yeah, I'm going to say the first thing you can do is support the mission objectives of Black or minority-based organizations and businesses. Because already their mission is to increase diversity, increase their voices, right, in the communities. So if you just support them and give them backing, it allows them to affect more people. It allows them to be seen by more people.
I think more so, and not in the dental profession, I get it. That's what we want to focus on. But I want to focus, because I did public health for a while. So I want to focus on the people in the chair. I need for there to be more dentists, hygienists, assistants of color working in public health, because that population needs dental help more than the majority of the populations. And you know why they don't always go? Because we don't look like them. They're afraid. They're afraid to lay back in a chair, because you know what it takes to lay back in a chair? You're giving away some of your power. When somebody reclines you in a chair and tells you to open your mouth, you give away some of your power right there. So I need there to be more of us in the field of public health, working in schools, in nursing homes, in lower income communities. So that way, when little Tay-Tay grow up, he's not afraid to go to the dentist, any dentist, no matter what they look like, because he had a dental hygienist who was his color who told him, don't worry about it. Let me show you how to brush your teeth. Let me take care of you. I'm a big proponent of grassroots. Everything starts at the grassroots level. If you don't get it from before it grows, that's it. It's over. By the time it's a big tree, you busy cutting it down because the fruit is spoiled. You got to get it from the roots. You got to get it from while the seed is planted. That's what I want to see. I want to see us reaching out to the people who need the help the most. That's where I'm at.
Anaika, you focus on like a very specific part of that. Like it's going to they're going to come see you more. They're going to get healthier.
Mm-hmm.
The opposite, or in addition to that, I think it's going to be, you're a role model now. They know that this is achievable, higher incomes, which is going to give back to their neighborhoods, their communities. Like you're setting it. I think this solves actually a lot of what you're kind of been talking about tonight by just going and doing one little step. Public health.
Yes.
Just shift.
Yeah, that's
real
it.
Quick.
Grassroots. And you don't have to stay there long. Be there a year, 6 months, whatever. Enough to see a group of patients who see you and they're like, oh, that's interesting. She looks like my mom. Okay, I'm comfortable with her a little bit. They sit in a chair. Or she looks like my daughter. Oh, okay, I'll sit in this chair. And then they start talking to you and they're like, oh, I could tell my granddaughter or I could tell my niece that this is a field for her. You're right, Andrew. This grows beyond dental health, but prosperity, becoming something better. Or even if it's not in dentistry, they at least see that there's a professional that looks like them. Representation is key in all walks of life for us. We need to see people that look like us in order for us to feel like we can do something.
This is why organizations like Brown Girl RDH, the National Dental Association, the National Dental Hygiene Association, the representation is key. This is why they're so important. My thing, what I would give everyone to take away is, I know people are confused. They don't know what to do. Like, what do I do? Do I post a black square? Do I hashtag Black Lives Matter? Like, what do I do? Don't do what's in your heart. Don't do it just because you think you should be doing it. Try to understand why you're doing it. And that's where you win. People, I'm going to get upset if I see you post a black square and you have a business and you've never had any inkling of diversity on your page at all. I'm going to be like, what's going on? Why are you doing this? Right? But what you can do is say, how can I help? Go to one of your black friends. How can I help? What do you want me to do? Don't send the same group text message to 3 or 4 of your black friends. Like, that's not what you do to help. That you're adding fuel to the fire. So just be genuine and try to understand what you're doing and why you're doing it. And this happens in your offices, in your dental offices. This happens in your friendships, in your circles. There's a lot of dental hygiene circles that are very cliquey and there's not a lot of diversity in it. How can you possibly give an opportunity to someone else? How can they know about it if you're only friends with one black person? Like, do better. Now you know better, and now you can do better. And just be ready for people to look at you like, why are you doing that? They're going to get offended, but don't stop. Keep going. Keep pushing. Keep trying. Keep trying. It's a relationship, and we're all building together. So keep trying.
All right. So I guess we are going to table this conversation for tonight, but I am sure because we are Black people that this will not be the last time we will have this conversation. But I would like to invite you guys to follow us. Again, you guys are listening to Dental-ish, and this is a dental podcast mixed with a little some extra. And today you got a whole lot of extra from us. You guys are listening to us for the first time. We are so excited and happy to have you. I am one of your co-hosts, Anaika Forbes.
I am Martelle, Brown Girl RDH, on all social media platforms if you want to learn more about us.
And I am Chris. You can follow me personally on _Chris_love, or you can follow my organization, Profi Kings, the home for male dental hygienists. And thank you for joining us today, Andrew. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I enjoyed this. I thought it was fun. It was enlightening. I'm meeting some new friends. I'm loving this. We really hope that you found that episode enlightening and powerful and gave you an opportunity to understand that Black lives do matter and that there are ways that you can help support the cause. This is not, and the biggest takeaway that I got from this is not about violence. And that is not what Black Lives Matter movement is about at all. It's about making sure that there's meaningful change and that it's done now. And we can all play a good part in that. So make sure you guys check out their podcast as soon as it launches. We'll, of course, be putting it all over our social media as well. We really thank them again, Martelle, Chris, and Anaika, for all of the time that they spent it was, I know you guys couldn't probably tell, but it was like a 2-hour meeting, and they were really cool about just hanging out with me and figuring all the stuff out. And it was wonderful. It was one of the best nights I've had. So I really appreciate them, and we'll see you guys next time. Take care.